All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So last time I went a little too in depth on Tilray and CGC. My goal is actually to cover 2, 4, 6, 7 tickers on this one if I can. All right, so I do want to bring up the DEA headline from a couple days ago, mainly because of a lot of the comments I got. Look, I always say, comment if you disagree with me. I'm not here to hate on your thoughts. You might give me some insights that I never even thought of, right? And there's a couple I do want to share. I think my favorite one was actually someone saying it was good news that they said something, and I liked the way that they presented it. So I at least want to quickly share that. CGC, I was talking about the support line, and hey, it at least did the job today, right? But you know I'm still a little on the cautious side there. And then SNDL, ACB, High Tide, OGI, and VFF are the ones I'd love to throw into this one as well, all right? So excited as always to talk about it. I am still bullish on the sector. Obviously, not a lot has happened the early year, but nothing is screaming don't be bullish anymore. You know what I mean? So I'll give you all my thoughts and more, but before we go any further, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines, as well as the occasional diagonal trend lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, I'm telling you, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, especially if you can actually share the video. I'm not the best at doing that, all right? So let's get into it. And look, Tilray, earnings. Early next week, that is the entire story here, okay? There's a couple other things I want to talk about before I circle back to earnings. I want to bring up the DEA headlines again, all right? And yeah, I didn't log into Discord this time, sorry about that. But what it basically said was, look, even if the health organization lowers the schedule ranking, the DEA has its own verdict and its own say, all right? And one of the things that I said was, look, I don't think that that's a good headline. Okay, and my bigger point was the fact that it was a bad headline, but we got a good day. But I think a lot of people wanted to just make sure I wasn't trying to like say that the DEA was going to stop it all and blah, 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 right? So for sure, I agree that, look, I don't think the DEA is going to like put this crazy roadblock where, yeah, if the schedule rank changes, it's going to all of a sudden do this crazy no, right? But I thought it opened the window for some potential lawsuits and like this and that, silly red tape, this and that, right? I thought the coolest opposite argument, and again, I'm not saying disagree, whatever the word is, right? Like we're here educated people sharing thoughts, right? The coolest opposite thought I heard was, look, no news is generally good news, but hey, it actually might be really good news that the DEA said something this early. Normally, they're just going to stay quiet. They're just going to wait. They're going to set their plan, and then all of a sudden, they're going to jump out of the bushes and be like, hey, by the way, you almost forgot about us, right? No. Instead, they were proactive. Instead, they gave some early insights into what they were thinking. Instead, it's actually a good thing that the DEA said I don't have a lot of arguments to disagree with that. You know what I mean? So I thought it was an interesting perspective for sure. All right. Again, overall, I think it's just a small headline that we're going to forget about in a couple weeks. I don't think it was a mountain mover or a big like impact on the price, right? What will be is earnings. Okay. And I saw a headline today, or maybe it was even yesterday. I don't remember. It was either early this morning or late yesterday, but the early consensus was they were going to post a loss. That's at least what I believe the headlines was. Look, I don't know if it was a total like revenue. I don't know if it was an earnings per share thing. I know I saw a preemptive earnings analysis that said, hey, I don't think it's going to be all roses, right? Now, look, What really matters is what the company says live on the earnings release, right? So it doesn't matter what any analysts think or are expecting. End of the day, it's what they say on the live call, right? Fun fact, and I really don't have a lot of data for it, but I generally think if you're going to drop your earnings in the morning, the before hours, it's kind of a little better. I don't know why. Excuse me, a hiccup right there. But like, yeah, it's just something I've always thought. I feel like if you're willing to say the news and then let the whole day play out, as opposed to say the news after, where hopefully people are having dinner and maybe not paying attention. Like, I don't know. There's something I've had in my head. But listen, I am not one that holds a stock through earnings. For me, earnings are the craziest gamble in the stock market. I have seen great news, numbers, guidance, red candle after red candle after red. I'm telling you, like the market, and I've seen the opposite. I've seen some earnings headlines that were lackluster at best. They're not even bad, but just so insignificantly nothing of news, and then it rockets for no reason, right? So market reaction to earnings is crazy. It really is. I think we're seeing this dump off, right? And I'm not saying the word dump off in terms of like scary bearish, because I even started the video. I'm still bullish. I am until like I'm probably going to be bullish through earnings, and then whatever earnings reaction is will probably adjust me, right? But it makes sense to me. I can even go to here. We're starting to see volume generally decrease. We're starting to see a couple more red days than green days. It makes sense. Earnings is a scary thing to hold your money through, you know? So I like a few technical things up here for sure, all right? Number one is we're still holding these two lines like a champion, all right? That has to be the first thing I start with, you know what I mean? Because there are a number of other stocks outside of this sector that are below all the moving averages and not in a good place. And it's funny to see those there and not the weed stocks, right? Like I think it still screams like bullish in my head, all right? So I'm loving that we're holding these two lines. It looks like the 20 might be coming up. And again, 8 and 20 are great when they're your friends, and if they're over some of the other lines, it makes me even more confident that we're not going to lose these, right? So hopefully come Wednesday, Thursday, we'll golden cross both of those with that, all right? The next thing I actually love is today's candle, all right? Now look, this red day is bad for me, okay? Why? Look, we open at 245, the second line, and then we go all the way down and we close at 230. Same with this one. We open at 227, we close at 2. This red day, of course it's a red day. Like I see it was a red day, right? Like we closed here yesterday, we closed here today. For sure we went down. But we actually open at 223, the second number, and then we go all the way up and close up here at 228. Oh, we actually made 5 cents. We actually made way more. Like, to me, this isn't a bad candle. And look, it's not a great candle, right? Like, that's a good candle for sure. But this isn't a horrible red candle like the other ones. And hey, look, we hold this trend line still. We actually still do. And that's not a bad wick. You know, I don't care about wicks much, but yeah, some people still thought we're going over this. Listen, I think a lot of these colorful lines will very much not matter come Tuesday. Maybe even Monday after hours, because Monday after hours is the last moment before earnings is dropped, essentially, right? You can argue Tuesday pre, but Tuesday pre, you're going to probably see a news release from TLRY before you're even expecting it, right? So Monday, I can see maybe even a doji just form, right? Like, let's just see what Tuesday brings. And then Tuesday, in my opinion, either gaps up over 241 or brings us down to 210. I don't think that there's anything in between. I'm going to make another video and I'm going to remind you on Monday more than likely, all right? But I very quickly see 210 or 240. We're either making the break here to go up, or earnings is not going to be liked well, and we're working our way down into that 50 range. So you know I'm hoping for good thoughts. You know I'm not here pretending to know or even have a remote opinion on how earnings is going to go, okay? I'm not going to look at the weekly chart. This is very much a day-to-day play right now, and it is all about Tuesday, okay? Let me know if you disagree. You know that. Let's come into CGC. All right. One big thing I was talking about on the, hey, if you can subscribe and share the video, much appreciated. Sorry. One big thing I was talking about on the last video was this 455 line, okay? And I actually started back here. And really, let's just start right here. I'm going to ignore those two. So this line right here was a hard resistance, stopped it there, hard resistance, stopped it there, hard resistance, stopped it there, hard resistance, stopped it there. Almost, and then went. It completely stopped it on a good 4 attempts. It was the 5th one that broke the resistance, okay? We've now come to a place where that line is now a support line. All right. The last thing we want to do is lose that one, because I do believe losing this one will be worse than, not worse, but losing this will be horrible for this one, and it could be a real bad fall into all-time lows. All right. So this is an important line. All right. We've now used it once. It seems like we've used it here a good second time. Okay. And it's, in my opinion, it's not really, sorry to keep zooming in like that. It's not really like a one-to-one thing. It's not like we used it 4 times, the 5th one went up. We'll use it 4 times, the 5th one it loses if it doesn't take off, right? Like, I don't think it's one-to-one, but I think the fact that it was a 4 hit right here maybe means there's maybe going to be a 3rd hit before we lose it. So maybe we can use this line to go up a little bit, okay? My bigger issue is this 20 moving average is now taking a real steep downhill kind of slope. I don't like that. This is continuing to go down too. I know it's not as violent, but like it was trying to go horizontal. No, it's still going here. Look, we're still under all 5 moving averages. Still in negative like I am not a fan of the reverse split. I'm not. It's funny, I mentioned this stock on another one. Look, to me, what generally happens is the reverse split happens and you get a decent amount of bad for maybe a month, month and a half. After a while, after long enough, people kind of forget what the split was, and hey, maybe you'll start forming another little uptrend, right? And maybe you'll fill some of that gap, right? With what I'm kind of saying is I think we're still a little too early on this. Like, I think we're going to go down just a little bit more. Even as bullish as I am on the weed sector, I think that reverse split's going to hurt just a little bit more. And it's going to make this one come down before. Look, I will be so loud and so quick if I am wrong. Like, I'm not here pretending to have a crystal ball. I'm not here, like, trying to spread fear and make you think anything. To me, I'm really scared that this 455 line's not going to hold. Really, because that reverse split's just a little too fresh. And I don't care if it's 1 for 10, 1 for 100 like we saw in TTOO, 1 for whatever is bad. You want a real split. You want a 4 to 1, a 10 to 1, not a 1 to 10. You get it. So, yeah, I'm still seeing no reason here to believe we're going to be breaking moving averages, all right? Like, I maybe, because again, what generally happens is you go away from the 8, you come close to the 8. You go away from the 8. Like I said, maybe we're going to go back up. Maybe we'll even make a little baby run to this 540. I can maybe see 540 being like a recovery attempt line, all right? I kind of am expecting it to do a 1, 2, 3 and a down from there. Again, just kind of basing it on this 4 attempt and fly, all right? I think the really, really important line will be this like 570 line, let's call it roughly, all right? We want to get over the 50 moving average, and that's probably what's going to make me start to get rid of that reverse split fear. But yeah, for now, it's a little hard to ignore that and change my mind again, all right? So today is Friday. We just closed the weekly. That's not a great candle. It's not a big candle, don't get me wrong, but we went doji this. And I don't like that, and it makes me believe come next Friday we're going to see this 435. I think that's not the loudest of candles by any means, but I don't like this one coming off a back-to-back. I would have rather one more doji than a little bit more filled in, right? Obviously, if it was one of those, even one of those, maybe even one of those, I would have had a little bit more firmer thoughts, but I think that might follow. That's why I kind of think it's going to bring us right there, right? So, CGC, look, I hope I'm wrong. You know, if you watch my videos, I want everyone to be swimming in green candles, right? But that's not the way it works in the market, right? If it was, yeah, I'd be in a nicer neighborhood than I am today. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, let's come into SNDL. I am sorry I did not cover this one on the last video. I went on a little bit of a long tangent with the last two. So, look, there's not a lot of bad things I'm looking at here. There's obviously things I would like to be a little better, and I'll call those out right now. But yeah, I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 things that we look at, right? How is it doing on the moving averages? What's the MACD and RSI look like? What's volume, right? I'm liking the stock's ability to hold the 200 moving average. That's a really easy thing to say. Now, I would like it to be a little more back to back, right? Because since we've cracked it right here, we'll call this one good, bad. Good doesn't count, bad, right? Good, no. Good, can we do a back-to-back good day here? That's what I call confirmation, right? Even just kind of looking back all the way through here. This is kind of a back-to-back and then it doesn't run. This is a back-to-back and it doesn't run. It's odd to me that like this when was the last, like, this was it, I guess. Even this actually doesn't count because look, you can say that's the 1-2, all right? Doji doesn't count after. That's now a good one. I don't know. See, but that's a day like, man, why are you not giving us, is it this? I guess it's this. That September run was the last kind of real good string of candles. I'm kind of not liking this. And then from there we get a bunch of just 2-offs. This one's a little bit decent, I guess. That's a little interesting. I don't know if I've called that out on any of the last videos, but yeah, SNDL's inability for back-to-back, I guess, you know? It's funny, right? Because I bring to the table some generalized rules, right? Number one, I never say that my rules are the best or should be followed or like any of that, right? I'm just bringing you something. Feel free to rip me off, right? I got no issues with that. Sometimes you gotta adjust the rules, especially if you're looking at a stock a little more focused. And I think one of them that's kind of jumping out to me is confirmation here it's more than just 2 in a row. It actually might have to be 3 in a row. Just something to consider. All right, but yeah, a big part of the way my thought process goes is I gotta believe. Right? Like, I need to believe we've escaped lines. I need to believe we're not just sitting over them, we've broken them, right? So there's some interesting things happening up here, and I think a lack of consistent follow through seems to be the issue. And maybe volume's still kind of the problem because look, obviously, you know, if you watch, I don't like this, right? I don't like it when we're so far off from the 50-day line that it's embarrassing, right? Like, there's actually no other word for it. We're in this place where some days we're definitely breaking by a good amount, almost double it, right? Some days we're just peeking our heads over it. Some days we're just sitting under it, right? Like, I would rather it be a lot more consistently at the line with a couple peaks up than these like 3 up, 2 down. I don't know, like maybe I'm just overanalyzing. I don't know, but I think volume might be one of the reasons why we're not getting that back to back to back. I think that's kind of the connection I was trying to make. All right, overall, look. The 8's going up, the 20's going up, the 50 seems to be curving up as well, all right? There are 5 moving averages here. You know, I call that a tornado, right? It's a horizontal cluster. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. We've gone up. Are we going to go down? I hope not. What I need is belief. And really, I'm still trying to figure out what this trend line should be. Because maybe, look, right now I'm going from there to there. Maybe that's the actual trend line. Maybe, you know? I think I'm actually going to keep that for now. I am. I think that might have been too steep. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Too early to do that. Let's do this for now. I'm even trying to give you what my money line is right now, and I think it's this, which I think it's actually higher than that. So let me do this. Let's extend this. So for me to get over the trend line, actually, yeah, you see, look at that. I was basically clicking right here. And I think it needs to be higher than this. I really think the money line is actually 180. Okay, I think 175 might actually peek its head, but I don't know if that's just a little pop up from this cluster of lines or not. I need to believe. I'm just going to show it because you know I like to show it, all right? Palantir is the one that always comes to mind. Look at how tight all 5 lines are. You go up, you come down. You seemingly fly, you fall under them all. You're looking like you're going to take off again. You fall under them all again. You finally go. And it wasn't until a really high break before it actually went, right? SNDL, I think that's what needs to happen here. I do. And it's that. 190. No, wait, where was it? Yeah, it's that. It's that 180. Maybe it is even 182. 182, I think. I like that. I do like that. We'll check out the weekly. What does the weekly look like? Oh, man, I'm okay with this. Look, this is a critical test here. We have 2 moving averages. I mean, a stone's throw away from each other. And look at this weekly candle. I actually don't mind this thing. All right, it actually closes up here at 161. That's most of this. Like, we didn't fall under half of it or all. Like, that's not a bad doji. I wish the doji was over the lines. Believe me on that. That's not a bad doji. This one's close. Look, this one's been mimicking Tilly a little bit more than it used to. Tilray's earnings are on Tuesday, all right? I know it has absolutely nothing to do with this, but look, if Tilray earnings go well, so will Sandal's chances of going up, SNDL, all right? I do believe that, okay? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, I want to put ACB right here before high tide, okay? Main reason why I want to do that, look, it's this setup. Sorry to zoom in like that. The 50 is what we're battling with the 100 and the 200 right here. That's exactly what SNDL was doing. That's exactly why I'm going to chapter these two together. We were battling the 50. We were battling the 50. We finally get out and we have the 2 lines up here that we're battling, all right? ACB is in that same battle. It needs to get out of the 50 moving average. It needs to make me believe we've broken the... Look, we are physically over it all of these days. Since this day, right... Excuse me, hiccup. Since this day right here, we're actually over it. We're over it. We're coming down, but we're still over it. All of these days till here, we're physically over the line. None of this here makes me believe we've broken the line, all right? Even these 2 good ones right here. This one breaks several lines. That's, oh man, that's arguably the one that should have done it. How are you guys giving me these 2 good candles in a row and then not running? That's a little disappointing, actually. Interesting. That caught me a little bit off guard. That should have... Man, and again, it's the same thing. I was trying to explain it with SNDL, right? Like, I don't get why we're only getting like these 2 little candles things and then nothing, or 2 decent ones and like we can't get the 3rd, or like even this thing. And there's something that's just missing on these ones. I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know why. That's weird, actually. Either way, though, like I said, that's pretty much what we're looking for. I think that's... So what's that? 50. I mean, yeah, 49's the line. It's a high 49, though, for sure. Then the next one up is 52. It's weird. Look, end of the day, this one I think is going to be more about that 56 line. Look, making the move from basically 49 to 56 is about a 10% swing. I'm not here saying, you know, look away from those, but I would much rather get over all the moving averages, because I'm just going to draw this line right there, right? Like green, red. Over 57 is really where you want to get into ACB, all right? So I'll leave that line. Why not? Let's leave that line. That was ACB. We're at 24 minutes. Let's keep going. I think I'm gonna keep running here. Let's take a look at high tide. Oh, okay. All right, look. High tide. I've been saying, oh man, look at that volume right there. Interesting. Yo, that's not too shabby, and that's not a bad candle to go into next week with. Was there any news here? Was there anything that actually justified this doing it, or are we just looking at a technical move? I would love to know from the team. But look, this one's been over all 5 moving averages for a bit. It just hasn't been able to break and fly, all right? That's a nice candle. I wish it confirmed. That's not a horrible candle. Doji never counts, but that's a big doji, and that's one that makes me think Monday should tell the truth. Monday, where are we to that? Yeah, Monday brings us into 182, 183, maybe even higher, or Monday brings us down to 170. I don't think there's going to be much of a in between right there. But high tide is starting to go away, and that's a good thing because it's going away up, right? Like the 8 looks like it's going up, the 20 starting to go, the 50, even the 100, all of them are pointing up, and that's a great thing on the daily. This looked good, right? Like it was easy to see that was like that. The weekly really talks about the strength of it because we got over all the moving averages, not all, but right, but a big important 3. That's a beautiful follow-up candle, odd doji. I'm surprised that was the one after. I'm surprised we didn't go up here, and I remember talking about that. I've been covering this one more, right? From there we go doji, big. And that actually makes me think we're going to make an attempt at 191. We might even go all the way up to here and try to fill the top of this at maybe just a wick, right? But maybe we try to kiss $2 here. Like, it seems like we want to make an attempt, the first real attempt at that at the 100, the first real attempt since March of 2 years ago, March of 22, right? So, high tide, I think the weekly chart is the one that speaks to strength. That's a positive MACD with a great divergence right there. That's an RSI that looks like it's about to diverge the right way, and it was just so high not that long ago. It was 81 not that long ago. We're at a 40, and look at that volume pick up. Look at that volume over the last month, almost 2 months. High tide, that's nice. That's nice. There's not too much more I gotta say right there. Lovely. Let me know if there's been news. Otherwise, look, overall 5 is the place to be, right? Just took a little bit longer for things to like manifest, but yeah, this is what should be happening, right? So, and again, I kind of say it gives people a reason to buy, right? Like, oh yeah, I love it. It's coming to OGI. This is not one I look at a lot, but I've been eyeballing this, all right? And you, I hope, can see why, right? First attempt at the 100, not the best. Second attempt getting better, but couldn't confirm. Third one, couldn't confirm. Fourth one, getting a little better. We're now knocking on the door 5 times, all right? And this single anomaly aside, we're missing the volume. We need to get over the 50-day average. Again, the one thing I always say, like, this is the average of the last 50 days, this line right here. This is the C student in the class. This is not the above average kid. This is not the best of the last 50 days. This is just the average, you know? And we're not even, like, we're just so far from, like, we're, what, 10, 20, 30% of the average, right? Like, that's not good. Come on, right? So that's a beautiful technical setup. It is, right? Like, we're on the path of break the 100, go to the 200, right? Like, that's how my rhymes work. Red can make a nice green path all the way up there, right? Looks like it's actually a little bit more than 20% as well, because we're basically we're only adding 20 cents. So a little bit more than 10% though, for sure. Maybe like 15% right there, right? Look, I also do like the fact, I know these look a little old, but hey, I'm glad we at least had a hit early in 2023. Another one right here, and then we obviously counted off the 5 that just went off, right? Like, it seems like we've done enough damage to this line to where it should be a little bit weaker than it probably should, and hey, maybe we can go, all right? So I think there's a lot of reason to believe that there's this 160 target. Looks like it's actually right at the bottom of this Yeah, look at that. That opens at 159. When I click right here, you can see the average 200 is also at 159, right? So that 159, I think, is a real fair target here. Do I think that this is going to break that 160? I don't know. And a lot of it is kind of the opposite thoughts of the hunt. We have not come close to touching it. Oh, here's once. We have not come close to touch it. Like literally, when was this? When am I clicking here? Damn. September 2021. All the way inclusive of today, we've only been here 2 days. That's a tough line. That's not a line that screams, I'm ready to break and go by past me, right? So I think there's real good reason to believe we're going to come here. I think it's a little aggressive to come to 180 something or 2. I don't know if we're going to get that high. Believe me, if we get over the 200 moving average, I'm going to completely say the opposite of that, right? If we can actually get over that purple line that's been an impossibility, oh man, I don't know if we'll come there, right? But like right now, nothing tells me we're going to come to 2. I think that's a little too extreme, but I think more than enough is kind of telling me it wants to try this 160 line. And hey, again, just like we saw with the 100, you got to at least start trying to hit it before you're going to break it. You know what I mean? So it will be good to make a try. Hopefully the rejection's not too bad. And hey, maybe the strength of the weed sector will carry it, right? So OGI. Look, I mean, it's kind of the exact same thoughts, right? Like on this 20 moving average line, we've hit it once, twice, bunch of times. Arguably, you can say we went from the 20 to the 50 right here, right? So it seems like this 20 is ready to break. I think that's the same comments I have on the 100 right here, ready to break. Where are you? What's your number? This says 180, 183. Again, I think we'll pop to that 160 and then I think maybe 175. I think 180 is a little aggressive. I do. I don't know if 180 will hit. But hey, maybe. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, even if you disagree. Last one on the list today, VFF. Okay. I don't know what my thoughts are here. Okay. Look, obviously, this thing is on the cusp of break all 5 and fly or lose all 5 and die, okay? What I'm seeing is way too tight a cluster to even consider this trade, all right? We have been going to the top, to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom, to like we're just at the mercy of these 5 lines. Volume's nothing spectacular. I think this is just a little too tight for my blood, all right? If we can get into that like 90-ish cent range, and I know that's kind of quite a bit higher than where we're at, but I really need to believe that we've escaped the lines. That's 93. What's you? What are you? That's 91 even. I think 92 cents is the line. I don't think I would touch this thing until 92 cents. A little higher than that. That's 91, right? Yeah. I think it's like right there. 92. Perfect. Yeah, too many moving averages. There's actually nothing more I got to say here. Damn, this was 32 minutes. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if this was too long. Maybe I'll break it out for the next one. But hey, enjoy the weekend, and I'm excited for the year.